As we're approaching the end of June, I must say the stats for June look a little bit better. Finally, some good news. Today we'll talk about the national average for freight rates both in the van, reefer, and flatbed division. We'll talk a little bit about the national average for fuel. We'll talk about the worst place to be in the US as an owner-operator or even as a small fleet owner. Which areas you should try to avoid. So let's get into it. Number one, let's talk about the national averages for the van, reefer, and flatbed division. So in the van division currently, our national average is sitting at 2.05 per mile. Finally, an uptick. I mean, man, we've seen downticks literally for the last 7, 8, 9 months. We went from 2.02 in May to 2.05 in June. So what does that mean? That means that the rates are moving up slightly. Now that is some great news. Hopefully July and August will uptick in the same trend. Now usually, I don't know about you guys, but June and July are usually not the greatest months. I say that it usually starts kicking back up in September, October, November, but this is great news that in June, the freight rates have gone up a little bit. Let's talk a little bit about the reefer market. Reefer market is currently doing exactly the same as it was last month. It's trending at $2.42 per mile. So $2.42 per mile is obviously you are profitable and you can do very well for yourself at $2.42 per mile. Again, obviously, you know, the reefers cost a lot more money. The financing for that reefer is a lot more money. You obviously have an expense for fuel, but the $2.42 probably outweighs all the expenses that you have for that reefer. May and June are exactly the same at $2.42, and the only downtick that we saw is, well, really it's not really a downtick. I would say that it kind of stayed the same, is in May and June in the flatbed division. So May showed $2.52 and June is currently showing $2.51. Again, I don't see that being an issue at all. I do think it's exactly the same. Whether 1 cent up or down it does not make a difference. So now let's just quickly talk about this time versus this time last year. So in the van division, we are up 1.4%. Okay, our rates are up 1.4%. Finally, we see some pluses. I've been seeing minuses literally for 8 months. In the reefer division, same thing. Reefer rates are up almost 4%, 3.9%. This is great news. And in the flatbed division, they're up 0.2%, which is exactly the same as the rates of this time last year. Now, the worst places to be in the US for vans. So you can see here that the Northeast is by far the worst, okay? New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. To come out of there is very, very, very hard. And when you are coming out of there, your rates are extremely low. So yeah, $2.11, the Midwest, $2.10 as a national average in the van division. Let's do the exact same thing and see where the best spots are to be for the reefer division. All right, the exact same thing it shows in the reefer division. So the Northeast, $1.87 round trip rates. I think by far it's the worst region to be in, the Northeast. Midwest and Southeast looks to be really, really good, but the West Coast for the reefer division looks like it's smoking everybody out of the water at $2.60 per mile. So obviously, because of produce now, $2.60 for reefers is great, unbelievable rates. So if you have reefers, send them out west. Now, the flatbed division, you can see here that the Southeast region is by far the best. So Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee, those regions look like they are the highest paying loads for flatbeds at $2.68 per mile, followed by the Midwest region, Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana. I would say those would follow at $2.59 per mile. So finally, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time and I constantly report negatives, and rates falling and rates falling and rates falling. Finally, I get to report on some good news, even though it's very, very small margins. I mean, we're talking about 3-4 cents in each the van, reefer, and the flatbed division that the rates have gone on. But just the fact that they're going up is a really good sign for all of us. So hopefully you learned something from this video. I'm Ronan and I'll catch you in my next one.